Because of New York City's COVID policy, Kyrie Irving is not allowed to play in today's game, but he is allowed to sit courtside as a spectator. That's correct. Can't play, but can just sit there maskless. And Bleacher Report also reported the Nets have been fined $50,000 for violating local health and safety protocols by letting Kyrie Irving enter the team locker room Sunday. Democrats are such good people, they're so not racist, that they're bullying unvaccinated black people and all ethnic groups in a way that makes so little sense that even vaccinated Kevin Durant, the other star of the Brooklyn Nets, had to say something about it. In a press conference, Kevin Durant went at New York City Mayor Eric Adams, calling the situation ridiculous and just looks stupid. "I don't understand it at all," he said. "There are a few people in our arena that's unvaxxed, right? They lifted all of that in our arena, right? So I don't get it. I don't get it." It just feels like at this point now, somebody's trying to make a statement or a point to flex their authority, but everybody out here is looking for attention, and that's what I feel like the mayor wants right now is some attention, but he'll figure it out soon. He better. Eric, you got to figure something out, man, because it's looking crazy. Especially on national TV, he can come to the game but not play. Come on, man.
One final example of just how asinine this is. The NBA just fined Kyrie Irving $50,000 because their rules, the rules in New York City, here's how idiotic it is. Kyrie Irving could go to a game, could sit in the stands not being vaccinated, which he did. That was perfectly okay. By the way, if Brooklyn won't let Kyrie play, I'm going to make a pitch to you directly. Kyrie, come to Houston, play for the Rockets. We'll let you play. It's a hell of a player. Uncle Drew's being benched by asinine Democratic theater. This is stupid. It's not health related. It's not science related. It's not medicine related. It is political theater, and it's time for it to end.
It's making less and less sense, but it actually never made sense. Kyrie Irving's been eligible to play away games, but since the city of New York is run by psychopath authoritarian Democrats, yet they have a stranglehold on the culture and media so nobody realizes that they're the worst political party, he's been allowed to play away games, but not home games. But unvaccinated players from other teams could play in the Barclays Center all season, just not Kyrie Irving on the home team. What's the scientific basis of this? Well, of course there is none. It's absolutely psychotic, but enough people have either been brainwashed by mass media or are too scared or cowardly to say or do something about it, so they've allowed this charade to go on for a long time. However, being able to sit in the stadium maskless yet not play in the game is the new level of psychosis. So much so that even Stephen A. Smith, fully vaccinated and boosted media analyst, has even came to Kyrie's defense recently.
"I'm sorry if you can't take a vaccine that over 6.2 billion people in the world have already taken, trying to claim that you think there's some kind of conspiracy going on and you want to be that defiant and leave the rest of your team hanging, the Kevin Durant, the James Harden of the world, when you are clearly the favorite to win the title. As far as I'm concerned, the hell with you. Sit him down, let him stay home, don't pay him a dime, and let him live his life. If that's what he wants to do, yes, he has the freedom and the right to do what he wants to do. They also have the right to tell him, see ya, it was nice knowing you. You don't need to be a part of the NBA anymore. I have no problem with that position."
Stephen A. Smith.
I've been critical of Kyrie Irving. I didn't stutter. I'm not backing up. I meant every single damn word I said. But that does not mean that what New York has done to him is right. It is not. Kyrie Irving should have never been prevented or prohibited from playing a game at the Barclays Center this season. The city of New York's rule is bogus. It is ridiculous. And it has no business being in place. And Eric Adams, the mayor, who I like, by the way, needs to step up and handle his business in this regard, in this specific regard. We all in or we're out.
Yes, that's the same Stephen A. Smith who got wildly sick with COVID and let people know that he was fully vaccinated and boosted. Thank goodness, right? That just proves it's working. And disagreeing with Big Pharma or your government has for years been a social media violation, so you either have to lie in their favor, watch what you say like I do, or act stupid. Recently it was reported that the CDC virus data not being seen by public, agency says it's not ready, cites fear of misinterpretation. Wait, what? That's correct. Even the New York Times reported the CDC isn't publishing large large portions of the COVID data it collects. The agency has withheld critical data on boosters, hospitalizations, and until recently, wastewater analyses. Kristen Nordlund, a spokeswoman for the CDC, admitted one of the reasons they're not releasing it is fear that the information might be misinterpreted, Ms. Nordlund said. Because basically at the end of the day, it's not yet ready for prime time. Not yet ready for prime time? Rachel Maddow and the CDC director had no problem sharing data that wasn't ready for prime time, like when they said that you couldn't get or spread the virus with the vaccine. Take a look.
Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in the clinical trials, but it's also in real-world data.
Instead of the virus being able to hop from person to person to person, potentially mutating and becoming more virulent and drug-resistant along the way, now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person.
They had no problem sharing that not yet ready for primetime information. But don't worry, the CDC director explained why recently. She was just optimistic. I mean, it's okay to get it completely wrong if you're just hopeful for big pharma.
Could we have improved? I think I can tell you where I was when the CNN feed came that it was 95% effective, the vaccine. So many of us wanted to be hopeful. So many of us wanted to say, okay, this is our ticket out, right? Now we're done. So I think we had perhaps too little caution and too much optimism for some good things that came our way. I really do. I think all of us wanted this to be done. Nobody said waning when this vaccine's going to work. Oh, well, maybe it'll work, it'll wear off. Nobody said, well, what if the next variant it's not as potent against the next variant.
I wonder what they're going to do to get this data ready for prime time. Imagine the data being so telling that just showing it to the public will cause people to put out misleading things. Wonder what it is. What do you think about Kyrie Irving being bullied by the New York Nets, the New York mayor, and the Democratic Party? Do you think people will ever wake up to the greater of two evils? Trust me, I can't stand the Republican Party at this point. I think they're soft, weak, and they just pretend to be our friends for the most part. But it's pretty clear that the only ounce of freedom, liberty, and space between big government swallowing up our whole lives is the Republican Party. Do you think people will ever understand that it's the Democratic Party being more authoritarian and terrible? Or do you think the racial and social programming is so deep that people will continue to scapegoat average Americans and run back into the hands of the oppressor? God bless you, Kyrie Irving. Thank you for standing up for what you believe in. And hundreds of millions of Americans have been abused psychologically, financially, career-wise, and mentally for the last 2 years. It's been disgusting. It's still disgusting. And I pray that God restores order to this wicked, disgraceful culture that we've created around enslaving humanity and mandating the funneling of profits to big pharma. I mean, I support Ukraine or something. Sorry, I'm just trying to fit in. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. And if you want to support off Facebook and YouTube and Rumble and BitChute and Gab, Patreon.com/RareTalk is a great help. Thank you for everybody signing up there. I've launched a new podcast, Dream Rare Podcast, and it's streaming everywhere. Check it out, Spotify, Apple, everywhere that podcasts are found. Usually they censor podcasts less, and I'm having great conversations with people. I'd love if you check it out. It's completely free, and have a beautiful day. Share this video if you like it.